Hello everyone, my name is Matt Pascucci, and today I'd like to speak to you a little bit about privileged access monitoring. Who owns the keys to your kingdom, per se? Well, we all know that admins have a higher level of access than the normal user. Do we know what they're doing with that access? Are we monitoring it? Is there change controls put in? Are they putting us at risk without even knowing it? Those are some things I'd like to speak to you about today a little bit. Firstly, who in your company has admin access? Sounds like a silly question, but it's probably much harder to answer than you think. Do we monitor those groups that they have access to? If you look in your domain admin group, you might be surprised to see who's actually in there. A lot of times you get these users that are put in there, due to laziness, due to they can't figure out an issue, but they get in there. Are we monitoring those groups? Do we know who's in them at all times? That's a big question. Secondly, do we know what our admins are doing? So we do have change control procedures in place. Are they following those change control procedures, the change management tickets that are open? Are they doing this? Are they not doing this? That's something that we have to be aware of. Are these change management tickets approved? How do we know if there's not a rogue admin in there that's going out there and making a change that we're not aware of, leaving our network completely open? Do we have systems in place to monitor for these changes? So now that we have a firewall admin, per se, he opens up a port outbound, and it completely leaves our network vulnerable. Leaves our PCI zone open. How do we know that? How do we know that it wasn't an accident to begin with? Do we have systems in place to look for the risk of changes? That's a big thing. That's something that we're going to see start, within the next year or two. That's going to really take off. Even though something's approved, should it be approved? So we have change management, in effect. But the actual rules that are being applied to that change management, I don't know. Does management know that a rule is a risk? Do the admins themselves know that the rule is a risk? That's something that we really need to start harping on within the next year. And lastly, are your domain admins in Windows side? This is a big pet peeve of mine. Are they logging in with their domain admin credentials to their workstations? Please tell me they're not. We should have separation of duties at all times with higher level administrative controls. So if we have a domain admin in a Windows group, he should not be logging in with a domain admin password. All he has to do is get that machine compromised that he's on. He can get a phishing attack. Those credentials are now stolen, and your complete network is compromised. So these are a few things that we need to start looking forward with this new year: is who are your admins, what are they doing, and do we have tools in place to monitor for change control and for risk. That's all we have for today. It was a pleasure. See you next time.